Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Hello and welcome all of our loathsome listeners to this episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night. We are still in our Post Mortem recap show, which means we are watching the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 2, Episode 6 today. Swan, are you ready to open up the vaults?
Always. I'm excited. This whole season has really energized me about the show. I love the rewatches. I think the fans are enjoying it too. I kind of look forward to the rest of this season, but then moving on to 3 and Resurrection.
Ooh. Can we just do season 3 as one 4-hour podcast where we just talk about the whole season?
What do you think of that, listeners? Should we just do season 3 as one mega episode, 4 hours long, or do you want your season 3 recaps in bite-sized pieces?
It's weird because season 3 has a lot of juicy drama that happened off camera that people don't know about, and I've been waiting to share it all with the world so that they can see for themselves what we already know, that some of them were total assholes.
And there you're doing what you do best. You're just dangling it. You're dangling it in front of people. Now they want to know.
Well, I always like to say, I'm not judging them now on their behavior then. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to rehash all that, but it may give people insight into how we think about different seasons and why.
Yeah, that's what this podcast is about. It's about several things, but part of it is we want the reality of what it was like on set, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, stuff that didn't make it to the final cut. Yeah, from our perspective.
From our perspective, exactly.
From the production perspective.
We've already heard it from everybody else's. You might as well hear it from us who actually know what happened. Anyways.
Exactly.
Speaking of knowing what happened.
Yes.
I'm excited to tell everyone at home that we are going to discuss the first 2 episodes of YellowJackets Season 3 right now.
That's right.
So if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you go watch it on Showtime or Paramount Plus, or watch it through Paramount Plus channel, through Amazon, whatever it is. Everything can't just be on one channel anymore.
They don't
for
make
some
it
reason.
easy. No, they definitely don't.
So, but go watch it, pirate it. I don't know what you're going to do.
I missed my girls. I missed my lesbian Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
And I got reminded quickly how good this series is.
Yeah, so what did you like did you like these first 2 episodes?
I did, because it just brought me back to that strange, supernatural, violent, kind of psychodramatic world that YellowJackets really established. And I feel like it's been 1,000 years since season 2 ended. So when they did that, like previously on, I was like, ugh. It was so much crazy stuff that I just didn't remember. It's a little confusing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, because a lot happens, and some of that stuff in the recap happened in season 1 even.
Yeah.
But as all fans of a show, like I'm a fan of YellowJackets and I love the show, which means I got to bitch about it. Because that's what happens.
That's what fans do.
That's what fans do, and I want to, be a fan. So
damn it, if you can't beat them, join them.
Okay. I love the 2 episodes. I love the world. I wish I could just watch it all night, all in one sitting. But there was only 2 episodes, so I couldn't.
Right.
I had some problems off the bat, though. Problem 1 is we pick up at the end of season 2, their cabin burns down.
Yeah.
So here we are, and they were sitting out in the snow all scared looking, and it was snowing, and there was piles of snow. So now we pick up, and it's spring, and they have these cute little huts that, someone built for them. And I need to know what happened between them being in the snow freezing to death and then finding somewhere to hide and be warm until spring comes.
Yeah.
What is that?
They did brush through it. I mean, and you are that girl who's like, no, I got my notebook out. I want to know the step-by-step. I want to know the details. I don't know. I want to know how we got from A to B. But basically, they just said that the spirit or whatever it is out in the woods got its sacrifice, and then they were blessed with spring. So I think what you're supposed to believe is that quickly that snow and that season ended, and then they were blessed with like a spring where they learned how to build really cute thatch huts and,
Guess what, though?
redecorate the whole camp.
Guess what? This is the same show where Jackie went outside one night and froze to death. So why is it that they're all outside and they're not frozen? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Well, I don't know. Like in the real world, temperatures do vary. Not every night is the same frozen tundra, even though there's snow on the ground. I mean, I don't know what to say other than it's a little bit of a suspension of disbelief, right?
I love how you feel like you have to answer to it and
I
defend
have to
it.
defend YellowJackets. I am the defender of YellowJackets.
I hate
Duh.
Shauna. That's the second thing. I hate Shauna still. I hate young Shauna.
I love to kind of hate Shauna. And
Do you hate her?
I don't think she's a likable character. I don't. So hate might be a strong word. I don't think she's likable. I kind of am obsessed with young Shauna. And she's very believable to me. She's nasty. She's over it. She's cutthroat. She's a bitch. And I think she's a threat there. And you can feel that.
You know what bothers me about her? This is what it is. She acts so dark and moody and broody, and she's rude to everyone. And I'm like, everybody's stuck here, lady. We are all going through the same thing. Why is it special for you? Why are you sucking all the air out of the room?
She's over it. She's just completely over it. Yes, they've all been out there, but she was pregnant. Her best friend died. They ate her. She lost her baby. A lot going on.
Yeah, I guess I can. The baby part does add a layer to it for sure. But still, I think everyone's lost people that they love, and, you know, someone lost their leg. I mean, it's all this craziness, and you kind of have to band together in those moments. For me, if I were Jackie, first of all, I'd still be alive, and I would kill Shauna. That's it.
Yeah.
Because she's just rotten, and she's bringing the whole vibe down.
Jackie, aka Snacky, missed the boat. She didn't see it coming, and Shauna like completely fucked her over. Stole her boyfriend, had her baby, lost her baby, ate her face. Wow, YellowJackets is good.
So I'm also disappointed that Jackie's ghost did not make an appearance.
Look, it's early. We're only 2 episodes in, so you never know. And these girls are crazy, and that is what this show is. It is about trauma. It is about mental illness. It is about the stuff that goes on in like post-traumatic mode. All of them have major issues, so I would definitely not put it past the writers to put the spirit of Jackie to haunt Shauna before they get rescued.
Okay, so another thing I see online all the time, and I have to like totally super scroll through TikTok so I don't get spoiled, but everyone keeps trying to be like, who's the pit girl? Oh, this is the pit girl. Did you see pit girl was here and there? What? I don't remember what that was.
I totally remember.
What is it?
I'm on the who's the pit girl team. Back in like the teaser, or maybe it was toward the end of season 1, they hadn't really gone full cannibal mode, and they were teasing these looks, and they were really tribal. They had the horn headdresses and the ferns, and we're getting a little bit of that kind of tribalistic stuff happening in the group, especially because Lottie is now kind of like this, you know, psychic shaman seer spirit medium. But there was a cut scene where a girl falls through a trap door, and there's like, it's a spiked pit.
Oh, is it the same pit that was on episode
could
2?
be. Well, that started to excite me when I saw that pit. I'm like, oh, maybe this is the pit.
It becomes the pit.
Yeah, maybe it becomes the pit, or
Ooh.
they just overplayed it. Like in the edit, they made it seem like a spiked pit, and that was it. That's all we're gonna get.
Wait, no. Maybe it was implied to all of us that the rest of the girls were going to kill this person in the pit, but maybe the pit is set up by the coach. Because he trapped one person in there, so he might be like, I might as well do it again, right?
To kill, though? Like,
Or
I don't think so.
Get
I
a
don't
deer
think so.
or something? I don't know.
Maybe to get a deer and someone else falls through it.
Yeah.
That could work. And then they eat him because he killed one of the girls.
You think they're going to eat him?
I think he's going to be dead.
I'm like this. He lost his leg,
Mm-hmm.
and he's still getting by. And he lives in that cave and everything. I'm like, let him live.
Yeah.
Let him live.
That is a very resourceful gay. I mean,
Yeah.
it's believable. And I think, you know, she found her way through that. She even helped the other one who busted her leg on episode 2, dug her out of it. I mean, it was impressive.
And I'll tell you this too. There ain't no way that those girls built those cute huts without a gay. There's
It's
no
true.
way. It's impossible.
Well, I don't know. Lesbians are powerful too. Like lesbians,
Yeah, but they're not going to make it aesthetically.
Oh, right. It's gonna be dry. It's gonna be warm, and it's not gonna be cute.
Right, exactly.
Definitely function over form. Well, listen, I can't wait for the rest of the season. I want more crazy Lottie drug pushing, like
I didn't like that
spirit
either.
quests. It made
me uncomfortable.
I was very triggered watching both of these episodes. I'm like, damn, this show is like riddled with like this undercurrent of anxiety, and it goes right back to the theme song. That dee nee 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 nee. I mean, it's like a horror movie or something. It's like the Twilight Zone.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. If you want to hear more Yellow Jackets content from us, just let us know. And as long as one person says it, we'll do a whole episode.
Oh, perfect.
That's all we need.
That's all we need. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back. All right, my darlings, we have returned.
So let's dig into the Boulet Brothers Dragula, Season 2, Episode 6, The Gothic Wedding.
I love this episode.
It's so good.
I love it.
I keep saying this. I'm like, it's peak Dragula. I think the truth is season 2, we peaked. We're still peaking, but we got there on season 2.
So let's talk about our intro video, because this is, again, an example of how wrong we were.
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was part of our characters, but I don't know. I mean, people loved it at the time, but we couldn't do that now.
Totally. I think people would not be
okay with the personal attacks when I'm like,
it's so
bitch and her snout.
Oh my God, my favorite is Abora made up a boyfriend. What? Yeah, it was so pathetic. I'm like, especially knowing the truth that Abora's boyfriend was real, and there was a lot of drama.
There was a lot of drama, which we've never talked about before.
Totally.
Do you remember some of the elements of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what was the basic?
I remember that Abora's boyfriend basically tried to kick up drama with Abora to the point of like, I'm going to reveal that you're on this show if you don't fucking call me back. And I remember we had to all be like, Abora, you got to take care of this right here, right now. Like, end it. And it just was a lot.
Yeah.
And so she dumped him while she was on the show, and he didn't say anything?
I don't remember how it ended. I mean, I want to say it ended with a letter from legal, but
this is the same boyfriend that we make reference of in episode 1 when Erica's talking about, well, that doesn't sound like a great relationship. And when she's like, you flick me in the dick and force my kiss my face in front of my boyfriend. It's that boyfriend that kind of haunted Abora's experience the whole season.
I think that was messing with her, honestly.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Totally.
Definitely.
The part that messes with me the most when I watch it, because I'm like, oh my God, I could never say that again. Israel, get your fat ass in here and bring me that phone.
yes, yes,
It's so funny because it's ironic, Like at the time, Israel probably didn't have much body fat. Now there have been other periods where she's had a little more.
And Drac will let her know to like walk right up to her and pinch her side roll. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you, we went bike riding with Israel. This is years ago. So I was like behind him, and I'm like, it's looking a little chunky. So I like drove my bike up and grabbed him.
Yes. Oh my God. I love when Israel's a little chunky.
Do you?
Oh yeah. Israel is never hotter than when he's like spilling out of them jeans a little bit. Oh yes. I'm like, ooh, love handles dad today. Got it.
She's lean as hell now, like leaner than ever before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she didn't want me looking at her anymore.
Oh my God.
Okay, but can we please continue to talk about this intro? Because this intro is, weirdly, this is the only intro that I was not at the filming of.
Oh, really?
And I do not remember why. I have no recollection of why I wasn't there, but I remember I didn't see this footage until there was already an edit of it. So I got to experience this as a fan, and I loved it then. I love it now. They will never be as fit and as beautiful as we are, even though they are ugly and they deserve to be alone. Oh my God.
I kind of want to do something nice for them, even if it's for like an hour.
Y'all's acting is so funny in this one too. It's so campy, and like you're like just the reactions. Like Drac, you have this one moment where you just you roll your eyes. It's so extreme. Like I love y'all. I love the show.
Oh, it is funny. Now chop, ladies, chop their heads off.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I noticed we do the intro, we come in, and we do a live challenge issuing as if it's the finale.
Yep.
Does anyone remember why we did that?
You do.
I do.
What?
Okay, please
I do.
let us know.
Okay, and I remembered this because as I was watching the episode, that wasn't the piece that like pinged on my radar, but the thing that did was during the Dirt Squirrel sponsor moment, we have a cutaway to Sean.
Yeah.
And it's like, like, ooh, look at all these fans. And I remember that the Dirt Squirrel piece didn't come in until later. And so we didn't have that in the challenge issuing video. And so we're like, fuck, we have to announce this. Here we go.
Oh.
Which I applaud y'all because those were long days back then.
Yes,
Yeah, they were.
Those were long days.
Long days without scripts and all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
Nothing was worse than the finale of season 2. That is absolutely still the longest I've ever been on set, and I never want to do it again.
To the point where someone vomited after being on set for like 20 hours.
I can't wait until we get to the finale because this finale is awesome. And the real story, the real Tia Bora of how this finale came together, you had to be there.
About to fall out of his chair.
I also love the fan snapping montage.
Yeah,
was
it's really
terrible.
cute. I mean, there's no shortage of additional camp value from the Boulets in this episode because the whole thing, like, I am alone. I'm so utterly alone. No, you're not. We have these fabulous guest judges.
This is the point in the season where we all start getting tired. So we had like inject more fun and stupid shit to like keep each other activated. And I remember that I love y'all. I love the show.
Well, this is also where we fake out the cast and say we're bringing Dali back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Which was incredible. It landed. All of them were
The
shocked.
fans were pissed too because the fans believed it.
They thought it was happening.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of sense too because Dali
Yeah.
was a threat and they all talked about it on the episode after Dali went home. And this is actually foreshadowing for what actually happens in season 4 when we bring Dali back after Resurrection.
Yeah, I remember I thought people would think we're tricking them again, but it was awesome when he actually walked out.
Yeah, it really was.
Totally.
God, we're smart.
So smart.
Amazing. And also thin and beautiful and
So let's talk about the boudoir for this episode because it is rotted.
James comes for Abora's fucking nuts.
Uh-huh.
I was like, leave Abora alone.
Yeah.
She was breaking her on down.
I cringe at it. Like, it makes me uncomfortable.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think James was the first person on the show to quote play the game, you know, and honestly, you can be friends afterwards, like win the show, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to bring up about this boudoir that, Drac, you kind of mentioned this in the last episode of Creatures of the Night, where you talk about what Erica brought to the show. This boudoir makes me miss Erica really bad. Like, I think it was Erica's time to go. Like, I definitely am not trying to renege on that, but Erica absolutely made those boudoirs a blast. Like, she just had that sort of like that lubricating quality with everyone.
I was going to say she's the connective tissue. And even if something isn't quite clicking, like, she made it okay.
Totally.
So this is where Abora's asking Victoria about Dali and their like love affair.
Yeah.
And then Victoria snaps back and is like, well, you weren't honest about your hookup with Erica. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Oh, no, I remembered it. But actually what she said was something more like, well, I don't think it's any of your fucking business what I do behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Vicky, I don't remember that fire.
I know. I'm like, Vicky, oh my God, I did not realize you were going to bring that to me during Resurrection.
We'll get there.
Remember in Titans when Erica goes up to Abora to be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that was brutal.
Crushing.
I mean, it was hysterical, but it was brutal.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. Speaking of love affairs and behind closed doors and hilarious, this is also the episode that we get, I don't fuck my brother. He fucks me.
Right. Which, do you remember? That was such a thing. When we did
Controversy.
cast announcement.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were
Yeah.
like, that's the incest queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her and
Yes.
her brother fuck and they do porn and all this stuff. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I
Yeah.
absolutely remember that.
And it was something that he just spread and lied about just to cause controversy.
And it worked.
It worked.
Well, I think people thought that he spread it for his brother, which is apparently not true. But yeah.
Yeah, iconic line. Again, that was the time where everybody was engaged with the show and they they would believe anything. They were so ready to believe anything about the cast.
Yeah.
I remember there was some rumor somebody started that was so ridiculous about something we had people on a bridge in Texas and they had to like drink bleach. It was so stupid and absolutely impossible, but people believed it.
I'm like, wait a minute, like future season extermination challenge? Like what?
It was wild.
She poured bleach on me.
I also really love Abora in this episode because I think that Abora is on the ropes. Like Abora is Abora's been beaten down and I wrote manipulation on this. Like I think that Majesty really does try to manipulate Abora. But what I really love is Abora is chaos. Like Abora vacillates really fast between being like, okay, I know. And then also, but you're not my friend. Okay, maybe you are. I'm like, you're giving me whiplash. Like what the fuck?
No, it's
awesome.
true.
I love it.
Me too.
So let's move on to the floor show. And they had to do a lip sync to Gutter Glitter by Switchblade Symphony, which was so fun.
It was so awesome.
Amazing.
I remember getting comments and tweets, because back then that's what we called them, about that song saying like, thank you so much for bringing me back to my favorite goth days. And there was just really like a synergy with what we were doing and thematically. And Darren Stein joins us again, his second time with us, and Bible Girl, who provided the prize this season. I think I forgot that. But Darren is in fifth heaven. Like Darren is a gothic queen to the core. Like it doesn't look it on the outside, but he still to this day talks about this challenge. He absolutely loved being there.
So watching it back, do you all have any different feelings about it than when you watched it the first time?
No one's amiss in this episode. Everyone looks good. Like everyone shows up visually. That's what I walked away with after watching again.
I agree. I think that everyone is firing on all cylinders. Is that how you said? Everyone is firing? Whatever. Everyone is kicking ass, taking names. The one thing that I will say in retrospect, and I think I felt this at the time too, bitch pudding's fucking hardcore for that. Like, I just remember being like, you're going to do what? You're going to reference who? Like, and the look itself, I think is a weird pick for, traditional goth. We have Victoria, who is literally like, I am goth. And then you have bitch in white, but as dead JonBenet Ramsey, I'm like, that is fucking goth.
Yeah.
It was. I just think she looks stunning.
Yeah.
She looks stunning. It was really a great look and a great performance and a great concept.
Yeah, it really was.
This is the time that I started thinking differently about her because yes, she showed us the episode before. I was like, oh, she can act. That's great. She's doing a good job and she really looked the part. But in this one, I'm like, oh, she's giving a different, almost sinister kind of thing that I hadn't seen her do before. And I was like, this is fantastic.
And another creative interpretation of this challenge is James Majesty with the pink and the flowers and the Day of the Dead of it all. Very unexpected in a goth challenge, but also an opportunity to really show off what James was capable of makeup wise.
Oh my God. Untouchable.
Incredible.
Also untouchable was the fan. Because
couldn't reach it.
no fan. Damn, diva.
And here I was, I thought I was going to win. And now I'm going for extermination because of the goddamn fan.
I also really love, I think this is maybe one of the first times that Majesty's vampire glamour, I'm going to call it, falters. And it's during Judgment where Majesty gets called out about the shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, Majesty gets called about the shoes. And I love Darren for this. Darren's a shoe queen.
Yeah.
Darren's a shoe queen. She loves a shoe. And she calls Majesty out for the shoes. And Majesty's like, oh, well, that's from the floors. And I think it's you, Drac.
me,
Drac is like, wait a minute. Hold on. Like Detective Drac Morta.
Let's look at bitch pudding's shoes, camera pan. Her white
shady
shoes
camera
are
pan.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, watching it back, I'm like, ooh, I love this. This is so
You're
spicy.
so mad.
You're
Who
so
told you
mad.
I don't think anyone really got too mad on the stage until season 3.
Oh, yeah.
And people got mad all the time on season 3.
Oh my God. I mean, it was like just spin the roulette wheel for season 3. I'm like, who wants to throw an absolute fit today?
Who do you want to go home, Dahlia?
Dahlia.
It was wild.
Dahlia.
Amazing. I love Abora's makeup in this challenge.
Yeah.
It's really evil looking and mean and sinister and bird-like and cool.
Let's talk about what happens. Because we really truly do whatever the fuck we want. And I remember this day so clearly. What I don't remember is that Bible girl had my back because she was thinking the same thing that I was.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I didn't remember that.
I didn't remember her kind of like co-signing for me, but I felt so strongly about the performance. And the performance is what's, I think, the most significant for me. The look is important, but someone with stage presence, like that's who I gravitate toward. And Abora had just such a wild, untamed magnetism, and I felt so strong about it. And we literally argued, I think, for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it went on and on.
Yeah.
Way more. We like downed the cameras. We involved other producers.
Yeah.
Everyone was in on this conversation,
Yeah.
and we had it out.
Yeah, we did. And I wasn't giving it up.
No,
I
you
was
weren't,
not.
but neither was I. And I
Right.
think that's the first and really the only time you can sense it on camera, when we're actually legitimately, I'm not going to say pissed, but like kind of aggravated with each other's strong opinion.
I remember that day. And I was sitting in, I remember when we sat down, I was like, oh, they're going to roast Abora. They're going to roast her. And I was like, okay, let's start. And you were like, Abora? I was like, what? I really thought you all were punking me. Do you remember that? I thought
do.
that the three of
I
you had
do.
planned
Oh my God.
to punk me. And you were going to be like, just kidding, you know, because I thought it was obvious.
Yeah.
The bitch fell and rolled.
And the punchline never came, mama.
Listen, you're a perfectionist at heart. So everything is about presentation and like everything being there. But there is something about surprise and being inspired in the moment and chaos, which I think that's what we really were noticing.
See, I'm into that, and I can appreciate what you were talking about at the time now.
Yeah.
But then, I'm thinking like you're an ice skater, you're going out to do your show, and you fall. I'm like, flop, you're done, right?
But it's the spontaneity, and you can't plan for it. And she pulled it off, and the whole package it's chaos, it's punk. Did she do it on purpose? Who cares? Like, it was so strong, like emotionally, and then the bouquet goes on fire. You're like, wow, I'm on this crazy ride, and I love it.
You know what's odd about her? She is sort of infamously clumsy on the stage. Because in Titans, remember she had like she kept falling, or her shoes were too big or something.
In the Witch Challenge.
But she can get on stilts and walk all over a club and never falter once. It's bizarre.
I'll never forget one of my favorite Abora interactions I've ever had is Abora and I were talking about her stilts, and because she brought them on tour and did this amazing number. And I was like, I'm really nervous that you're going to fall. And Abora said to me, the key is to not be afraid of getting hurt. She's like, I do not care. She's like, if I fall, cool. I'll just roll around and it's part of the show. And it just made Abora click for me. I was like, oh, this is part of you as a performer, as a performance artist, as a performance competition, as a performer, like you use your body. Like it's a part of your arsenal. Like throw me around. I just think it's cool.
As someone who used to do stilts in clubs a long time ago, I can tell you that when you fall, it is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I fell one time practicing, not during the night, because I went to the club in the middle of the day and walked around just like, let me get used to this. And I fell one time, and I was like, I have definitely broke several bones.
Oh,
like, it was
God.
not fun.
It's
It was
scary.
not.
We both used to do it. I remember because we used to do like the craziest themes. Like everything was a theme party back then, and there was some kind of like jungle theme or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna walk on stilts tonight. This is gonna make sense. And I basically had a plant on my head. I was like
Cool.
a giant oversized tree, wasted on stilts,
Yes.
plant on my head, and I'm like, this is
Yes.
crazy.
Well, that was the only way to do stilts, is wasted.
yeah.
We used to do crazy stuff like that. I remember running around on the roof of the club, just drunk as hell, in high heels with a real chainsaw.
Oh my God.
I'm like, how did I not chop my leg
was it
off?
on?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was on.
my
This was
God.
Halloween.
Yeah, I had the chainsaw running all over on the roof, and people were freaking out everywhere. It was awesome.
Holy shit.
Yeah. We were up on that roof many times. Like I remember another party, no idea what the theme was. Don't know why it made sense. Maybe it was like a circus or something. Yeah, with like clowns or something. And we had these giant water balloons, and there was an outdoor patio right below us. And we were just hucking them across the way, smashing them on the wall, and then the water rains down on our patrons. And they're like
It was-
cheering. Yay!
Because they were in swimsuits. It was like a Gothic beach party. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. That's so awesome.
A Nosferatu beach party.
It wasn't, but hey, it evolved.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let's talk about this show. What do we,
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, right. The Boulet Brothers Dragula, season 2, episode 6, the Gothic Wedding.
The Gothic
all
Wedding.
right, where are we? At Judgment, right?
Yeah.
So in a twist that nobody could see coming, Obora wins, but also goes up for extermination,
Iconic.
which is amazing.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
It is kind of perfect for Obora.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So they have to go stand in buckets of ice water, which I later found out is not good to do.
The first thing I thought of when you announced it on this episode, I was like, oh God. At the time, we were like, oh, Jesus, I guess cold feet. Like, I'm going to stay on this bucket of water. And later finding out, oh, that's really fucking dangerous. Like, health scare fucking. I was like, oh, tee.
Sorry, won't do that again.
Dems the rules.
And they wouldn't get out.
And I remember Disasterina was pissed.
Yeah.
Why was she pissed?
She was pissed, I think, because and to give Disasterina credit, Disasterina's look was on point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the face was gorgeous. The mystique of the Gothic aesthetic was absolutely there. The dry ice, the butterfly in the jar, like everything. It was very cool, but it was like the performance just wasn't. And I think Disasterina felt very robbed on the wrong side of justice.
Yeah, I remember that. It was that was a tough judgment too, because even looking back at the episode, all of the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. You got a butterfly in a jar, you got a thing of keys, like you have.
Oh, that's right. She had all those props.
Yeah.
It was like every single thing was interpreted, but I think that also was to her detriment a little. It was like, okay, this is a little
too
on
on
the
the
nose.
nose.
She kept trying to get to everything too.
Which
I
is
think
a fatal mistake.
Yeah.
So fatal that she ends up in the death scene, which I absolutely love.
This is it's so utterly campy, of course. However, in the end, she makes it kind of scary.
Disaster is a good actor.
Yeah. Like
Absolutely.
her voice, like the gurgle kind of when she's like, she's like screaming.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought it was creepy.
And this reflects like the fake death in the slasher movie last episode where she's getting like her pussy's getting murdered, like she's getting stabbed. I'm like, oh my God, we just want, this is very much that. For me, it's the paper cone titties. Like I was so, oh my God, that came on screen. I forgot about that. Like I totally forgot about that element. And she's like, la 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 la. I wish someone else were here with me. And her cone tits. I'm like, this is so demented, and I live.
My big moment is one hand comes over and then another hand. I'm like, I love this show. It's so fun. Like, why do we do this? It's so campy. It's amazing. And another hand and then fourth.
I love the homage to Psycho. I mean, we've done homages in the past, and I almost wish we were consistent because Monique's was a Halloween reference.
Yeah.
This was Psycho, but the one, Kendra and the Anthrax wasn't really a reference to anything.
That was our fever dream, and it was a good dream.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing death scenes that imitate famous scenes from horror movies.
That's cool.
Next season.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
do Madeline's beheading when what was that? What's that movie called?
Hereditary?
Yeah, from when Hereditary was out.
Yeah.
And Millie was on the season. That episode, I think.
That
Nobody noticed that. I was so
know.
pissed. I'm like, we have Millie Shapiro there. Hereditary was huge at the time.
Yep.
And we knocked Madeline's head off the same way. No, they were just like, okay.
And speaking of, I mean, God, this is so perfectly lined up because we just cleared out our storage unit yesterday, and I was like, Drac, come here. I was like, what is that? And it's a bag, and I opened it up, and it's Madeline's severed head.
Yes!
I've kept it for years.
Oh my God. I actually just got into an argument with Nathan about that death scene.
What about?
We were, I mean capital B, battling about whose car Madeline was in and whose car was being used like for that scene.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, it was Casey, who's one of the producers on the show. He's like, it's Casey's car. I'm like, no, it wasn't, Mama. I would drive in the car. It was my car. And I mean, it was like an hour of arguing.
Did you look up and see?
Oh yeah. I was like, finally, we're in bed. And I was like, pull the episode up. Pull it up right now. I want you to see your shame. And then he finally was like, well, I guess it was your car. I'm like, I hate you for that. I hate you.
Can I just talk about how scary it was to film? I mean, we're going to get to that when we do season 3.
we will.
That was one of those nights where I was like, this isn't correct.
Oh yeah, this is not safe.
I was like, someone's good. Because remember, we were shoving the car back and forth.
And Sig was down there like on his knees, like trying to do like the head rolling out. And I'm like, oh my God, Sig Neutron cannot get hit by a car on this set.
That was some 80s, like someone's going to get hurt kind of filmmaking for sure.
Oh my God.
Punk
And
AF.
yeah, punk AF for sure. Because we're like, let's have Madeline in this car. And how are we going to emulate like the smoke going by? Casey's like, well, I have this jewel. And so I'll just blow smoke into this fan. And it fucking works.
totally
It
works.
looks great.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Who needs CGI?
Girl.
You just need a smoker on your crew.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know they're making Gremlins 3 and
I saw
and
that.
I'm a little scared, but no CGI. All like
Isn't it
all
the same
puppets.
director?
I don't know.
I think it might be, or the same writer.
What, of Gremlins or Gremlins 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Gremlins 1.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly. I want to say I think they're ignoring the sequels, like everyone tends to do nowadays.
No feminine.
So if you had to ignore the sequels, which season of the Boulet Brothers Dragula would you start with?
What?
Meaning like sequentially, right? Like let's say you could go back in time and sort of reset the timeline.
Oh.
Which season would be season 1 to you?
And you have to basically disregard everything before that.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I know.
I don't know that I would make this decision. I might leave the timeline untouched. I would be like the protector of what is there, but I do have one. If I had to pick,
Yeah.
I would say season 4.
Me too.
I was going to say season 4 as well.
Yeah.
totally.
Season 4 would be number 1.
When we get new crew members, I always say, go watch the show, but start with season 4.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm like, do it backwards. Start with 6, because I don't want them to see season 1 and be like, that's what they want me to bring to the show.
Totally.
And that's no disrespect to fans that love seasons 1 through 3,
No.
or
yeah.
or to the competitors that were on those seasons. We don't have problems with those seasons. I think as producers, we had to deal with a lot of stuff and just make do until our show got to a place where it's like, okay, now we can do more of what we would like to do. What do we want to see implemented? How do we want this show to look? And we were past those kind of like growing pains and really kind of becoming ourselves.
Yep.
I know that we did. I don't know that we called them postmortems at the time. Maybe we did, but I know that we did a review of season 4 as it was airing. I'm like, after season 3, I want to do season 4. Like, it's like enough time has passed. I'm like, I want to rewatch it. It's so good. I love season 4.
I saw a clip from the reunion and I was like, oh, wow. It was hot.
The personalities on 4 are incredible.
Oh, yeah. Season 4, all Pistons.
You gotta be kind of delusional to be truly great
yeah.
at Dragula, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They all came to set, and I mean, I remember thinking Betty was like, I am right. I got Sigourney's number. Me and Mary are taking her down. But then Mary was like completely convinced that that she was going to be vindicated. And I thought she would at least explain herself. But that's not. Then Zava came in hot and was like, no, I got Mary's back. And then Coco reads Mary. I was like,
Coco
I could
burned
not keep
the
track.
whole building to the ground.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to say who
Say
it was.
it.
One of them said, you set Coco up to do that. And I was like, let me tell you for sure that nobody on the crew, she did not say a peep to anybody about that.
I was gagged. I could not believe.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Zero. I remember when Coco came to set that day, and Coco was amazing. And Coco was just kind of quiet. You know, Coco gets like that sometimes. Like, are you good? She's like, I'm good. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, I'm going to Yoda all of my energy because I am going to destroy Mary today.
Yeah, she was loading the gun like
Totally.
mentally the whole day until it got to that point.
Anyways, that was crazy. I mean,
back to season 2.
back to season 2.
Yes.
So, well, wait, we already did everything,
Yeah.
right? We talked about the death scene.
That's right, Drac. So why don't we take another break, and when we come back, we'll be answering some listener questions.
Bye, guys. Welcome back. Do you guys want to talk about any other season that is not season 2?
I was thinking, honestly, like, I want the resurrection.
I can't wait.
Girl.
I haven't seen it in so long.
I know, it's been years.
I literally think I watched it when it came out, and I've never rewatched it.
It is still one of my favorite pieces of content that we ever created because I felt like it was the first piece of content that we created that we were not under the gun in terms of like what we did with it. And creatively, if you see the beginning and we're loading those VHS tapes to mail out, and then they get the S tapes at the end and it kills them.
Yeah.
To Orville Peck's song, I just think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And we also just creative, literal freedom, like free of genre convention, free of history of the show. We were just like, what do you want to make? Let's do it. It was awesome.
They wanted to put it up for awards at the time, and I think it could have won, but because it was so innovative for the COVID times, but they couldn't figure out how to remember because they were like, is this scripted? Because part of its work, is it a film? It's a film, but it's a reality show. Yeah. So it was a hot mess, but I still love that.
I still have all of those videotapes too.
You do?
I do.
We still have the projector too that I was forcing Andrew to watch with the mouth spreader in for no reason. Why not?
Because Dragula, honey.
Israel just left the room. I mean,
anything could happen in Dragula world. And you're looking over my spell book for the resurrection spell.
Yes.
And I love that intro too.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So good.
See, that's what I mean with season 4. I feel like that's when we were ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to get into these questions?
Let's talk about other stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was gonna say, you have the tapes, you're the projector, I have the listener questions.
Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Rocio from Argentina writes, I'm loving the older seasons review episodes of the podcast, and every time you mention monarchy, I wonder, what do you guys think of masked queens? Should they not use a mask for every challenge to stay longer?
I love masked queens. I think it's a cool expression. I don't think there's a hard rule that says like, well, you got to show us some looks where you paint your face. If they did, I think that would be probably a good showing just to show like variety and ability and skill. But if you have 10 masks that kick ass, you could win with that.
I think so too. I mean, I would love to see someone compete who is like a special effects horror mask maker. You know, you see people like when we go to all the horror conventions that mold them and paint them. And if you brought that kind of skill to the competition, I think it would be very impressive.
I think you should learn how to do that because then it would really cut down on our drag getting ready time.
I do enough and I don't need to learn anything else.
I also don't know that it would cut down on the time because the application takes 1,000 years.
I'd have to be here cooking plastic like Victoria used to do. Remember we went in her garage and there was like all those buckets of plastic and paint and shit. I was like, this is a toxic nightmare.
Well, it's either that or you start cooking blood like Loris in Resurrection.
I can't wait to get to that.
Kristen from Dallas, Texas asks, the on-location episodes in season 2 were exceptional because they were so difficult for the contestants. Having the entire episode out there on location and seeing them beating their mugs in crazy places makes for great TV. You had these artists out there in the extreme desert heat, the dirt, wind, scary shit, and wild people at Wasteland Weekend made it the perfect place to torture your uglies. We love seeing them get ready in these harsh conditions outside the cozy boudoir. It adds drama, filth, horror. You know, the good stuff.
So that's what it is. I think that this listener is commenting on what we asked last episode, which was why do they don't think we're not doing outside challenges when we are? It's because they're getting ready there. And that would be an adjustment we could absolutely make. Yeah. We could have challenge issue, like have them just show up to the location, get challenge issuing there, get ready there. We could easily do that.
Jack and Lexi, right? As superfans of Dragula and Traitors, we are dying to know which 3 previous contestants you think would snatch the cash in Traitors, and would they be Traitors or Faithfuls? Also, would you ever do the show if Alan called?
Well, I love all these traitor questions.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with the show. I really love it. Whether I'm on it or not or whatever, like I so thoroughly enjoy every episode.
If Alan caught us, the first thing I would say is, be honest.
Oh.
You are channeling us. I know you're pretending that you're in your mind. You're in a fierce wig and a fierce outfit because you're definitely not in reality when you deliver your lines.
Damn.
It's true.
The fashion is wild.
The fashion is wild. Questionable and wild, but he does a great job and is
he does a great
nominated
job.
For Emmy receiving.
Yeah.
But which 3 competitors would we put on the show, and would they snatch the crown as a traitor or as a faithful?
A faithful Kendra. Kendra would be a good faithful because you can tell she's altruistic.
You know what? If we had to pick 3, I'm going to say as faithfuls, all 3 Nightmare Girls. Kendra, Coco, and Melissa are all so baseline, just fucking real as fuck. That's what would carry them through to the win. But as far as traitors,
Coco could be a good traitor too.
potentially.
Yeah.
I think
Who
Zava.
else? Huh?
Zava.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, we've talked about this already. Zava,
yeah.
potentially Jade,
Yeah.
Coco.
Is there anybody else? And I said
You know who
Abora.
Sigourney might do well too.
I was gonna say
yes.
yes.
I think Sigourney.
Yeah.
I think Sigourney could fly low and be kooky and stand on everyone's good side and actually be one of the most powerful traders on the cast.
Sigourney is very smart. And she knows how to play the game, so much so that people at home don't even realize it. It's crazy. And I love it. She's great reality TV.
An unnamed listener asks, I've been rewatching the earlier seasons every week along with y'all, and I've been delighted to revisit your earlier looks. Any favorites from this early period or any that you think are super underrated?
The answer to that is no. So I want to say something about it. Back when we were doing season 2, we did not put our drag first because we thought we're the hosts and the judges and we're not competing with them. Remember, we'd always say, I don't want to compete with them, so we'll be a little quieter than normal, which was really foolish because we were known. The reason we kind of became well known was because of our outrageous looks. And we toned it down for the show. So it's up to this point, the answer is definitely no. I think the finale look from season 1 I really liked. Like the white headdress for the Last Supper, and then also
the dark crown.
The darkness look.
Yeah.
I think those 2 looks were good. But it wasn't until season 3 that I remember I'm like, we need to be ourselves, and we started then. So that's why I felt like we started.
Yeah.
And by season 4, I was like, yes, this is it.
There is a look this season that I really like though, and it's we would never wear it now. It's that asymmetrical vampire latex jumpsuit
From the sci-fi episode?
Yeah, from the sci-fi episode. I'm like, this is cool. This is like queer and weird. It's like fetishy and dark, but just wacky too. And I think it's a little underrated.
I agree with that. I think you nailed it, Drac. Season 3, I think there are so many looks that immediately come to mind. Like when we get there, I can't wait. Y'all look good in season 3.
It's funny because making a TV show is not cheap. And back in the beginning of the whole Dragula sort of like revolution, we didn't have a lot of money. We had a lot of ideas. We had a lot of support, a ton of creativity, but not a lot of money. And the stuff that we were wearing for seasons 1 and 2 was stuff that Drac and I already owned. Just no one had ever seen it because it had never been on TV. And we did have tons of latex dresses, and no matter how many times I bitched about them, we ended up wearing them. And it's cool. It stood up.
Yeah.
But I don't think I agree with you. I think season 3 and beyond, we really started leaning into who we were.
Asher from Brisbane writes, as someone who's recently started wearing contacts, I've been wondering how much you guys can see out of your white contacts. When watching floor shows, etc., do you have to take them out so you can see what's going on properly?
We do not have whiteouts in when we're watching the floor show. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
But we definitely do during judgment. And I already can't see them because they're so far away. So with the contacts, I mean, I can see general shapes.
Yeah.
I know who I'm addressing, but if they were like naked from the waist down, I probably wouldn't know.
We've talked about this effect before, and this is kind of like answering the question in a roundabout way. But drag is so harsh on the body. Boulet Brothers drag is like triple harsh on the body because from the top of our heads to the bottom of our feet to the giant claws on our fingers and our blind contact lenses, like in the corsetry, it feels like a cage. It feels like a weird prison. And when you can't see and there's just like lights and shapes, like your head goes into a very strange space.
It's like you're not there.
Yeah,
it's like your mind, your consciousness is separate from your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen monster makeup people, they say the same thing. And I get it because it's like nothing of your real person, not 1 inch is shown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
And it's a funny thing has happened, and this might seem like, no shit, like basic information, but in the time that we've done the show, now there are so many people, cast, crew, competitors that is what they associate when they think of me and you. Not us as directors, not us as the writers. It's us as these crazy vampire ladies from outer space looking crazy. Oh.
All right, everybody. Well, that is it for this episode. Make sure you watch the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8. We're going to be reviewing both of them on the next episode, and we'll explain why on that episode. In the meantime, make sure you rate, subscribe, and review wherever you listen. And also, go on the website and buy some merch. I mean, what are you waiting for?
Ooh.
Until next time, Uglies.
Ooh.
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted and produced by Dragula and Swantula Boulet, along with co-host Ian DeVogler, with music by Neuron Spectre.